Hello, friends. Welcome to Halloween Town, hosted by Shabby Meets Bling, Up All Night DIY, and special guest host, Crafting with Indiana Jones. Links to the playlist and all three hosts will be in the description box. So 2 years ago, I made this jack-o'-lantern head doll. And this year, I would like to give him a companion finally. And I constructed him using one of the Dollar Tree wooden gingerbread men as a template and one of their light canvas bags. And I just traced out and just made my shape just a little bit bigger than the actual gingerbread man. And then one of the treat bags I used as the head. So this one I was going to use last year, but I didn't get around to it. So we're going to use it this year and get started and just get stitched around and get going on Jack's wife. So I'm done with my preliminary stitching. I'm going to turn this on the correct side so I can start adding my stuffing. Okay, so I flipped this on the opposite side because there are pen marks on the side that I did my stitching. And once I get the clothing made for Jackie, I don't want the pen marks showing on her arms or her legs, so that's why I flipped it on the opposite side. And so I'm just going a little bit at a time, and I'll just push the stuffing in with my little piece of bamboo skewer. And since this was hand stitched, I don't want it to pop any of my stitching, so that's another reason, just to go a little bit at a time and not try to overstuff it. Just have enough stuffing so that she'll stand and she'll look substantial next to Jack, but her stature is a little bit smaller. I am going to end up stuffing her head just a little bit less, and her height is just like maybe an inch shorter than his as well. So now that I have the head stitched up, I'm going to cut off this excess material at the top. And because I want her just to be a little bit smaller than Jack, that's why I stitched this one just a little bit, made the stitching just a little bit lower. And so when I cut my bag, I'm going to end up cutting the bottom of the bag more than I did for Jack's doll. And when I start to round off the top to cut off the top, I make sure to snip the corners so that once it's stuffed, that it really gives a nice rounded, like bulbous look to her head. So for cutting the bag, I don't have like any exact measurements to give you. I just pretty much did it all by eye. And so just by, fitting the bag on the head a couple of times before you start to cut, that's just the way I did it that way, just to look and see, about how far down I needed to cut, and just looking at, where I needed to go to start to give it a nice arch on the top to snip away that excess material at the top. So now I'm just stitching this up on the opposite side, and using the white thread doesn't matter because once I flip it on the opposite side, you won't be able to see the thread anyway. And so now that all that stitching is complete and I turned it inside out and it had the nice rounded effect that I wanted, I start to add just a bit of polyfill into the front and I add some into the back. And once it's enough that it has a full look, but I don't want it to look super overstuffed, then I'll just pull the fabric, like cinch it in and just start to stitch it down. Okay, so now that that head is all stitched on there, I compare it with Jack. Okay, duo made in heaven. So I'm gonna start on her dress, and I don't know how to make clothing. I don't know. I just used to like play around doing this kind of stuff when I was a little kid. So I'm trying to like think in my mind how her dress would look like an old fashioned like turn of the century type dress. So I'm thinking, okay, let's think of like the skirt will like flare out like an A line. And so I'm just thinking, let me just go along her body shape and just go a little bit bigger than her body. And then I'll just flip my fabric over and cut it. So I'll end up with two exact pieces for front and back, and then I'll get them hot glued. This felt that I'm using for her dress is from Dollar Tree and it's super duper thin. So I didn't feel like stitching this would be an option, and I have Aleene's fabric glue, but it says you're not supposed to use it on felt, so I'm just gonna assemble this together using hot glue. And so I'm just trying to think of like, okay, a little house on the prairie type dress silhouette, and so that's where I got my idea for the dress, and I'm just trying to make it come to life the best I can. And I don't have any measurements. Like, I'm sorry, Edna Mode would be so disappointed in me. I'm trying my best, darling. This is just like, I'm winging it here. Okay, so once I pulled the doll up and I looked at the bottom was not straight. So I just took my piece of bamboo skewer to straighten my line up. And so now I'm just gonna get these pieces cut, flip them over, and then put the doll in between, like sandwich the doll and start to glue. And I'm just gonna glue side to side. Okay, so working my way down to the bottom of the skirt. So I'm just doing like a fold over method so that from the front you won't be able to see the seam, and definitely the hot glue wouldn't be able to be seen of where I've attached the front and the back together. So it seems that my little plan here has worked, and she's got like a cute little cinched in waist, and she's got a nice flare to the bottom of her dress here. So I'm thinking for the top, I'll give it like a little bib type look with this secondary fabric. And this is the same fabric that I use on her husband's shirt. So I want them to coordinate. So again, I am not using any sort of measurements. I'm just going by eye, and I'm just freehanding this, and I'm just gonna cut a little bib shape and see how this looks, and then get this attached down with some hot glue. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my jar of buttons that I found at Dollar Tree and look for some buttons that are hopefully the same color and size, and get 3 to 4 of them attached to this bib area. So I'm just trying to find the center and get them all attached in a straight line. Okay, so I was kind of pulling and tugging at the neckline and thinking, what can I add to really have a nice, cute vintage look? And I found this scrap piece of cotton lace in my stash. So I'm going to attach this just along the bottom. I'm only adding the hot glue along the bottom of the lace, and the top will kind of be free, so it doesn't, I don't want it to look like just like super stuck down. I want it to really look like it would be a ruffle lace detail to the top of her to the top of the dress. So I'll just get this added along her neckline, and then I'll add lace to each of the sleeves as well. All right, so I feel like Jackie needs some beautiful pearl earrings. So I have these plastic pearls from Crafter Square section of Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to figure out where I want to get these attached and just do a couple of stitches and have her some beautiful pearl earrings. So I'm going to give her a pearl necklace as well to coordinate with her earrings. This is just a scrap piece of pearl ribbon. I got the roll at Hobby Lobby, and I'll just decide the length of the necklace, and then I'll just get this hot glued to attach it. Okay, so this bib area on the front of her dress, I wanted to have a more finished look, and just just the edge just looks just unfinished. And so I don't have any black twine, so I figured just this natural color twine will coordinate with the pattern, the colors in that gingham pattern. So I'm just gonna get this hot glued around the bib area. And so to give her some shoes, I'm just going to take a few pieces of felt and just kind of wrap them around the bottom of the foot area and just get these hot glued. Okay, so it occurred to me, since they live in Halloween Town, Jackie's the mayor of Halloween Town, maybe she should have a broom. I mean, they have pumpkins for heads, they are magical creatures. She needs a magic broom. So I just found a piece that would be suitable for the top part of the broom, and then I have a small piece of rope, nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to decide about how long I'm going to cut my rope to, and then just untwist it and kind of get it pulled apart and frayed, and then I end up finding like a scrub brush to go through the rope and to kind of really get it kind of looking frayed and to really pull those fibers apart. All right, here's my completed Jackie the Jack-o'-lantern doll. Her and her husband, the first couple of Halloween Town, are so excited for the Halloween season. They love to coordinate. They're magical creatures, but they only practice good magic. Tell me what you think of my couple. When this video premieres, it will be my birthday, so I would appreciate if you guys would like my video and leave me a good comment. Let me know, what do you think of my jack-o'-lantern couple? Don't forget, there is a playlist. I'll have a link to all three hosts and the playlist, and I hope you have a super safe Halloween season, and I hope you enjoyed my little jaunt into Halloween Town.